Hello, this is Fear Dragon coming at you with another StarCraft 2 netcast. Today we have a Protoss versus Protoss. I think it's the first one I've casted in quite a while, but this is from the Late Night Quickie number 2 series. From the round of 4, we are finally at the semifinals, and now it is no longer best of 1. Let's go ahead and jump in and introduce these players who have made it all the way to this point. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the green Protoss player. We have seen him in about 2 best of 1 series so far. Let's see if he can bring this all the way to the finals. His name is Bennay. And his opponent, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as the pink Protoss. We haven't seen too much from him, so it's going to be really interesting to see what he decides to do. His name is Eraser. Both of these players, definitely top-notch players to make it this far into the tournament. I don't know if you guys have played in a lot of tournaments, but sometimes getting all the way to the semifinals can be so difficult. You have to deal with all kinds of potential for cheeses. You have to be able to hold off those kind of cheeses. You have to be able to deal with those long macro games. You have to play a variety of matchups oftentimes, except we have not seen Bennay play the PvP matchup. So we're going to have to wait and see how he decides to play this out. We actually see that Bennay a little bit slow on taking his first gas geyser. It looks like there it finally does go down. We can already see that Eraser has his done, but is only just now starting to mine from it. It's going to be very interesting to see what Bennay was doing, if that was in fact a mistake or whatnot. But in the meanwhile, it looks like both these players are going to be kind of going along the pretty standard route. The main thing you want to be looking for in a Protoss versus Protoss is when is that second gas geyser taking, and where is the chrono boost being spent. So we probably won't be seeing too much variety between both these players up until a little bit later on. In the meanwhile, it looks like Bennay actually doing a pretty big probe count cut, so very interesting decision making by Bennay. This is almost certainly going to be some kind of pressure, especially since he is chrono boosting out that initial zealot. That might be to try and eliminate that probe a little bit sooner, but you have to remember that even though you can eliminate the probe a little bit quicker with that zealot, a properly microed probe will not get taken out by the zealot. You have to get out that stalker before anything really happens. And we do see that zealot is going to go ahead and chase around this poor little probe who's on a not the greatest patrol path, but he does recorrect it. He does erase that path, and there he goes, retreating for his dear sweet life. Those side blades hurt, man. I mean, they're made of freaking lasers. It's like getting hit with a freaking lightsaber. I mean, come on. That hurts a lot. But same time, we are going to be seeing the robotics facility going down for Eraser. Really greedy play. Oh my god, look at this from Eraser. We can see that he only has probes out on the map right now. 0 units produced out of this gateway. 2 gas geysers taken and a robotics facility being thrown down immediately afterwards. Can this get any more greedy? If Bennay just walked over with this one zealot, he'd be able to do a lot of damage. Looks like he might actually be walking over with that stalker. Still no units being produced. Chrono boosting going down on that warp gate technology. We're going to have to wait and see if he actually ends up producing any units anytime in the near future. It looks like there is going to be the first sentry and a little bit of a supply block. Does finally get corrected, I should say. But the stalker's going to be able to come up, and he's actually going to be able to do a good amount of damage. He must be a little bit surprised, saying, what the heck is going on? You already have a robotics facility, but where are your units, Eraser? Eraser having to pull all of his probes. Oh my god, this is a terrible situation for Eraser, and now it looks like Bennay, oh no, he's actually just deciding to take off with the stalker. He does not want to lose it, but little did he know that a sentry, another greedy play, coming out from Eraser was produced, and that stalker could have easily taken down that sentry, or at least forced additional probe pulling, so that would have eliminated some of that mining time that Eraser definitely needs, especially in a mirror matchup. It is so important. But anyways, we do see the 4 gateways and a robotics facility, so wow, definitely going to be seeing some aggression coming out of Bennay. He does have these 3 units already out. Of the sentry is going to be an interesting decision that came out from Bennay. It might have been just for that defense, but we will end up seeing whether or not he decides to put on that aggression. I feel like in this situation, he would best be putting on that aggression, as he definitely invested in those 4 gateways, and it's going to be very important for him to kind of make use of the buildings that he's creating. If he's not using them to their full potential, then he's going to be in not the greatest situation that he could possibly be in. And we do see a probe coming up from Eraser. He's going to get a nice little scout out, see that Immortal, know that his opponent is going for the robotics facility tech. So it looks like both of these players knowing each other's tech paths. Although I will say that for Bennay, he did stop producing things out of that robotics facility. And honestly, especially with 4 gateways, even though he has not morphed in those other 2 gateways, you know, it is really difficult to produce units out of both your robotic facility and your gateways. So oftentimes, especially if you have 4 gateways, you need to choose, am I going to warp in a round of units, or am I going to start producing another Immortal or a Warp Prism or something of the sort? So it looks like from Eraser, we're going to continue to see constant units being produced out of that robotic facility. Meanwhile, for Bennay, he's getting a couple of units, but not quite as many. He's kind of looks like he's favoring those warp-ins from those 4 gateways he does now have. It looks like with that last round of, I guess, Immortals, he's going to go ahead and move across the map. He does have that proxy pylon already set up. We're going to have to see what kind of damage he can do. It looks like on the same time, though, Eraser deciding, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and go for the defense in this situation. He does have enough for 2 force fields. That is going to be enough to wall off the ramp, at least for a little bit. And by that point in time, he will have enough for energy for a 3rd. So he can do a kind of decent hold. But this is a lot of units. I don't think that Eraser is going to be able to hold this. He is still supply block. He's actually been supply block for a good 30 seconds at least, and I don't think he's going to be able to hold us there. The force fields go down, but they are a little bit too late, a little bit botched, and there are some additional force fields going down from Bennay, trapping in those Immortal from the Immortal from Eraser, and there the entire army of Eraser is getting completely eliminated. Only 3 Stalkers left. The Chrono Boost going down the warp gates, but it's not going to matter. Bennay taking this game with a great series. We're going to go ahead and censor that. And there is going to be the good game. Eraser definitely said good game. He said well played. He said you are a fabulous opponent indeed. That is going to send the first game over to Bennay's favor. We're going to go ahead and jump into game number 2. So go ahead and tune into that. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and all that yada 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 stuff. Let's go ahead and go to game number 2. I'm excited for this, folks. I want to see if Eraser can make a comeback or if Bennay is just going to take this series 2-0.